Welcome back to part two of our conversation. If you missed part one, go back and catch it because you're going to need to know where we're coming from. Last time we talked about how we can develop healthy cultures in our organization. Could be your home, your team, your business. Today, we're going to continue with what we call the lightning round. I'm going to share more insights to how we do that at our organization, talking about generosity, having a kingdom mindset, and daily habits that help shift the atmosphere. So get ready. Here's part two.
All right, PJ, we're going to go lightning round.
Lightning round.
Right, you ready for this? So we're going to have fun. We're going to go just kind of the quick flavor profile of the rest of the seasonings. So why don't I do this? Why don't I say the one word?
Okay.
And then you just jump in and finish the statement and kind of unpack it as long as you want to. You ready?
Yep.
Passion.
So passion is obvious. Like you can't hide passion, can't fake passion. You can tell when somebody doesn't want to be somewhere. It's evident. It's on their face. It's in their posture. I think that a passionate front row sets the tone for the whole room. I challenge people, fight for the front. I want passionate people down front. It's, a good example would be if you're in a business, I want passionate people at the doors, passionate salesmen. We can all tell stories about being somewhere where the person that we encountered that worked there didn't want to be there.
Yes.
I want passion. It's got to be obvious.
Awesome. The person who answers the phone at the business needs to be passionate.
Right.
Generosity.
So generosity is a joy. As we mature in our faith, we move from I've got to I get to. We realize God has blessed me to be a blessing. It's the difference between rivers and reservoirs. One is swampy because it has no outlet. The other is flowing, and I would say it's fresh. And I think the church moves at the speed of generosity. So when we realize God has blessed me so that I can help further and fund the kingdom of God, what a joy. We know the Lord loves a cheerful giver. So generosity is a joy.
Love that one. Kingdom minded.
Oh man, we celebrate other churches. I love the fact that we're in a community with fantastic churches. Just recently, a new church got started. We celebrate that. They are not competition. They're teammates. I like to talk about a jersey. As long as a team cares more about the name on the front of the jersey than the name on the back, listen, we're going to celebrate you. We're going to help resource you. We've allowed other churches to use our facilities to practice it. During COVID, we let them come in and our team filmed their messages. Recently, I sat down with a new church planner. I brought him a check and said, we believe in what you're doing. Like we're kingdom minded. If they're preaching Jesus, we see them as teammates, not opponents.
Wonderful. Life-giving.
Well, I just think church should be a hope-filled place. A lot of us have experienced life-draining church. You walk out of there and you're like, boy, it really beat me down.
I'm glad that's over.
And I think some people like that. That's why we wander back to abusive relationships. I don't understand it. I feel like Jesus always addressed sin, but then he said, go and sin no more. We should bring hope. I think, nobody's too far gone. With God, all things are possible. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. When I read the Bible, I feel hopeful. And I think when people encounter our culture, they should be hopeful as well.
And then the final one, mission driven.
Oh, well, this is the fact that we can never forget the Great Commission is to literally go into all the earth, make disciples, to baptize them, teach them to obey everything that he commanded, and he's going to be with us to the end of the age. That is our mandate. And so we've got to continue to reach out, continue to push forward. And so we celebrate every single one, and we anticipate the next one, somebody coming to know Christ. That's why we're here. We never graduate from the mission. The mission is the commission. If you ever wonder, what am I supposed to do? Just go back to the last instructions of Jesus.
Yes.
So he's like, we're going to change the world, and I'm going to do it through you. We're on a mission from God. I like to put it like that.
I like it. Awesome. All right, PJ. So before we wrap the episode, just to kind of bring us to a closing point, a focal point, is let's get a little more practical. We've done this a little bit throughout the time, but let's pepper in a little bit more about seasoning the culture when it comes to not just the church space, but how does this translate into home, school, work? And so let's just go through a couple of focused areas. Let's start first with marriage and family. So when you think about marriage and family, how would you roll some of this into that world?
Well, I think a lot of this, I wasn't intentional in the early days about what is the culture of my home. I think that, thank goodness, my wife and I we've had pretty healthy relationship with the Lord. And the overflow of that is naturally going to be creating a healthy culture. But I think for your marriage, it's making it like communication a priority, intimacy a priority. I would even go so far as, date nights a priority. My kids need to know that mom and dad genuinely love each other. That gives them a sense of security. So that is first and foremost. Then I think there's little things like with our kids. Hey, there's just some things that we do in our house. We're going to have fun together. We're going to sit down over family meals together. I heard a statistic the other day that said family meals used to take about 90 minutes. Now they're about 12. And so we fast track that, or we eat in the car. We're constantly on the run. Like, what is it you want to create? I remember being a kid and I'd go to my friend's house and it just felt different. It smelled different. They used a different detergent. It felt different. And it's kind of like asking yourself, what do I want to create here in my house? Is it stress and chaos, or is it calm? Do I want to raise kids that are confident in their identity? Do I want them to have a passion for the Lord? Am I modeling for them what that looks like? So I think it's asking myself, what is it I hope to create? And then what am I doing to literally create that?
That's really good. And this is a good marriage and family is a good one to even talk about the fact that culture is never a destination you arrive at. It's something that you're always pursuing. We've actually been talking the last 2 or 3 weeks about our stage of life. We're at a similar stage of life. Kids are older, moving out, starting life. Well, now for us, things like date night with our spouse looks different because we can sort of go out anytime. It's not special anymore. And so the evolution of how do we continue to pursue health and the uniqueness of our marriage, it changes over time.
And my wife and I literally had this conversation the other day. I said, I think we've got to get back to being intentional with our date nights. The fact that we can go out whenever has caused us to just get real casual. And so I pitched a strategy and now we've just got to implement it. But it's being intentional. It's like, this is the kind of culture I want to create, because here's the thing. Our kids are probably going to create what they experienced. And so let's model for them what we want.
That's good. And that whatever that strategy is, we'll cover that on a future episode. How does that sound?
Oh, I'll let you know if it's working.
It goes. All right. Let's go into personal life. So when it's just our personal life, how people engage with us, encounter us, how does the unique seasoning flow into that?
Well, I think everything starts from the heart. So I think Jesus said, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it starts with, what do I want in my life? I want to be a gracious person. Well, the only way I'm going to be a gracious person is that I spend time with a gracious God, the overflow of my life. So there's going to be some things that are going to be, they're just I guess, essential is the best way to put it. My time with the Lord is going to be essential. The way that I speak about people, the type of, I guess when I walk into a room, the way the temperature changes. Do I chill things off or do I warm things up? Am I adding laughter to an environment, or am I a wet blanket? Am I the kind of person when others get around me, ideas begin to flow, or am I a wet blanket on, fresh ideas? I want to be somebody that breathes life. And so I think some of that comes into like, how frazzled are you? Are you constantly running from thing one to thing two, disappointment to disappointment, and everybody's in the way? And am I the guy that's going up and down the road, constantly shifting lanes, trying to jockey so I can get two cars ahead in traffic? For what?
Yeah.
For what? But some of us, we live that way and we don't realize what we've done is we've created a frantic culture just because we're living a frantic life. So
it's good.
Just kind of step back and go, what's it like to be on the other side of me?
Yeah.
And how do I begin to live what I hope to project on other people?
That's good. My dad used to say, be a person who's easy to manage. And like whenever you walk into rooms and engage with people, just be easy to manage.
Right. Jesus said, you're the salt of the earth. Okay. Some of us, we're salty. We've misinterpreted. All right. Don't be salty. Be salt. Be a preservative. Be an agent of change.
All right. And then finally, workplace and business. Like, how does culture spread through an organization that is not a church, doesn't have maybe that spiritual foundation?
I think it's top down. It's inside out. If you're the boss, it starts with you. If you're the owner, it starts with you. If you're tolerating bad behavior, it's your fault. I think you've got to model what you hope for people to mimic. I think when Jesus recruited disciples, he didn't sit them down in a classroom and say, now let me teach you the way. He said, follow me. So you've got to be able to lead in a way that you're hoping others will begin to emulate. So I'd say you got to show up early. You got to stay engaged. You got to celebrate others. You've got to model this. You told a story recently. I don't know if you can make the 45-second version, but you walked into a business and eventually walked out of the business.
Yeah.
Because of the culture of the business.
I showed up to a gas station. I go to pay, and my worst nightmare is when you go to pay at the pump and it says you got to go in and see the cashier.
That's when I get in the car and I drive to another gas station.
I've tried all other credit cards, and so I walk in. I'm literally the only car getting gas. I'm the only person in the convenience store. And the lady working the register turns around to me, and you can't see it if you're listening to this, but she shrugs her shoulders. kind of raises her hands and looks at me like, "What do you want?" And I said, I held my card up and I started apologizing. "Hey, I'm so sorry. I hate to bother you, but this told me to come see you." And her question was, "What pump are you on and how much gas do you need?" And I said, "That one." And I don't know. It's my best guess. And it just didn't go well. And it was the product of it felt like someone who didn't want to be there. Hey, she had probably had a tough day on her own, but it did leave me to the place where I went, I can't answer the question. So I'm just going to go somewhere else. And I literally drove to another gas station and spent money to get gas there because the culture was terrible.
Yeah. It's very real. And we've all had an experience like that. You've walked into the restaurant, you've had this negative experience, and now you're like, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, and I think this is important for business owners to understand, for me, we're not trying to reach unchurched people. We're trying to reach de-churched people. They had a bad experience, and now we're trying to say, try it again. And they're like, no, I've tried it. And we're like, no, no, no. Under new management, we've got new seasoning. Give it a try it again. So I
Fantastic.
just think that that culture, when they show up, what do they experience? And if you're not intentional about it, like you're creating a culture. You
Mhm.
might as well put a little bit of intentionality into what you're creating.
So good. It's really solid. So wherever you are, home, school, work, church, you're either making the environment more flavorable, or more forgettable. So let's talk about this, PJ, as we transition to the end. What would just be some closing thoughts that would help people go from forgettable to flavorful when it comes to the things that they're in and that they lead?
Well, I think you definitely want to think through. Most of us don't do this. It's just what do I want to be known for? What does our organization want to feel like? And so I would say that this week, like it's going to be very easy to just listen to this and get back into your routine as normal. Don't just go through the motions. Like what is some seasoning that I can begin to sprinkle? Is it generosity? Is it joy? Is it serving other people? And so before you step into every environment, just a quick moment, pray on your way. Pray on your way. God, I'm going to work and I want to be an agent of change. Use me to bring seasoning. Like just ask him to change that perspective. Be expectant that he's going to give you opportunities. So before you walk in the room, pray. Show gratitude to the people that you work for. Be real. Oh, how was your weekend? It was great. Was it? Man, actually, it was a tough weekend. I'm dealing with a lot right now, but thank you for asking. Like just be real and watch how the atmosphere is going to begin to shift. I know we've tried to make this a focus of ours at our church, and we really feel like there's the atmosphere has shifted, the culture has shifted. The secret is in the seasoning as we try to be very intentional with it. So don't be a boiled chicken breast.
I love it. I love it. Memorable, powerful. The secret is in the seasoning. PJ, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Thanks so much for just being a part of this.
Hey, thanks for hosting.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun. And that, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the Fully Alive podcast. We'll see you next time.
Well, that wraps up our conversation about ingredients for a healthy culture. Listen, remember, nobody likes bland chicken. All right. Get you some seasoning and some flavor. You'll be glad you did. And so does everybody else that interacts with your organization. Hey, thank you guys so much for being a part of Fully Life.